everybody, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is focused on a 12 by 12 layout inspired by Shimelle and her Start with a Sketch class, sketch number 7. Let's get started. I have a 4 by 6 portrait image here, and the sketch calls for 8 different patterned papers to be tightly grouped around a single image. I selected my 8 different patterns, and I really lucked out with this photo because it primarily has neutral colors. That meant that I was able to go a bit wild with the pattern mixing. Since there are a lot of patterns in bright colors, I decided to back this entire layout with a 12 by 12 piece of white textured cardstock. As much as I love whimsy and going wild with patterns, I also love white space and the crispness that white space can provide to any visual layout. Now that I have my 8 patterns selected, I am just trimming them down into squares and rectangles of assorted size. This navy paper is my favorite of the bunch. I have used it quite a few times in the album which this layout is going into, but because it's my favorite, I knew that I wanted it to be the most predominantly featured in this layout. So that is why I have the biggest rectangle cut out for that pattern. With this striped paper, I was going back and forth between do I want it horizontal or do I want it vertical. I ultimately decided horizontal so that you could see the large variety of color. If I had left it vertical, you really only would have seen one color, and that's no fun. I'm just tucking the different patterns on top and behind each other to get to the right balance. This camera paper, I knew I didn't want any white pattern to be on top of the white background, so I moved that up and swapped it out with this yellow heart. I'm generally happy with how this cluster looks, so I begin to pull it apart so that I can tack it back down. If you have never scrapbooked for YouTube before, which I am learning how to do now in this very moment, it is interesting because my workspace is pretty far extended from where I'm sitting. So my arms are fully extended out, the paper itself is kind of far away from me, and then I have these desk lamps sort of rigged up around me and they blind me. All of this is to say that there is a lot of crookedness happening and a lot of rearranging because I can't see the layout very well, which I'm gonna have to reevaluate how I film these videos if I continue to film them. Anywho, crookedness is generally okay with me. I find that imperfection is the hallmark of any handcrafted item. A little bit of imperfection will not bother me, but if everything is completely crooked, I would need to redo it. So here, nothing ends up too wobbly or wonky, but I just wanted to throw that tidbit out there if you've never filmed, because I'm a casual crafter, and if you are a casual crafter and thinking about like, oh, I should film some videos, just be ready for it to feel really different. I will get used to it, but for now, I am just trying to find the best balance between perfection with imperfection and long extended arms. That was a ramble. I do apologize. Now I begin to lay down my title. I used foam thickers for this title, which is my first time using the foam. They're very soft and squishy, which makes laying them down straight a bit of a challenge. I do have this ruler that you can stick the thickers onto and then transfer them on. I don't know why I didn't use it. It was across the room and I just left it over there. But again, a little bit of imperfection is okay. It's a little bit at an angle, but ultimately, I'm happy with it. The sketch did call for a smaller cluster of 4 pattern papers at the bottom of this layout. I selected 3 papers that were directly from the cluster above, and then I pulled some of the wood grain out of that diagonal striped paper as well. You can see here as I'm laying it out that if you look from upper left to bottom right and follow the diagonal down, the pink is sort of lined up with that diagonal of the pink paper, the navy purpley with the stars will be lined up with the diagonal of that paper, and that helps transition your eye from upper left to bottom right, which is how this layout is intended to be read. Once I have those papers tacked down there on the bottom, I begin to look for embellishments. I sorted through a couple of different things, pulled out some enamel dots, and also wanted to provide a bit of ephemera on this page. I went straight to the 6x6 paper pack and just cut out a sentiment strip that said "Your Pure Magic," and it was perfect. It complemented the colors, but also I do find that both my husband and Dolly Parton are incredibly magical. It worked perfectly. I also had the Glitter Girl sticker pack. I went to that and pulled out this Adore sticker, which pulls in some of that turquoise from the upper right hand corner, which you'll see in the stripe and then in the camera. And then I begin to lay out these enamel dots. The enamel dots packet that I'm using had some turquoise, teal, pink, yellow, and black. So perfect complements to this layout. I get those into clusters of 3, stick them down around the page, and then I hesitated on whether or not I should do any journaling. I'm not big on journaling on my layouts, so I thought I was going to. So I pulled out this little thought bubble, and then I decided, you know what? I don't need to do any journaling. I'm happy with it. And there we are. That is the finished product. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you are curious about Shimelle's Start with a Sketch class, it is 15 different sketches where she creates 3 process videos for every sketch. I will link some information in the description in case you're interested in checking it out. All right, that's it for me today. Take care and have a wonderful day.